tell us about what the work has been like this week defensively, not only to improve on last week's performance, but adjusting without Kai being available.
I think, first of all, based on the performance and like the last few results we've had, you can see that we've been structurally good for the majority of the games, and it's just the little moments that we need to now work on and make sure that we're not giving away opportunities where we feel like we've done such a good job and we feel at the end of the game, all right, we're disappointed because we're letting these little moments get away from us. So I think that's really been the focus, just focusing on those, just being aware 90 minutes, being aware when the ball goes out, being aware on set pieces, being aware of all those things that, that's what'll change a game. And so that's been the focus. Of course, personnel changes, and then there it's just getting used to the habits of the different guys, what they're used to, what we want to keep doing well, and what we want to keep playing to our strengths. So just been integrating those things and being aware of, it's been solid, so we just need to continue that.
Troy was pretty optimistic that Christian would be back in the lineup this weekend if he does indeed play. How does that, obviously you guys have relied on him for his power and his scoring. How does that change things over the course of a week if he's on the field?
I think whenever Chris is on the field, we feel confident. We feel like we're going to score goals. So as a back line, what we want to do is keep a clean sheet. If we do that, we will score goals. That's the mentality we have and what we always feel when Chris is on the field. And he's definitely a presence that when he's not there, you miss him. Whether that's winning duels, whether that's a presence as a leader, and whether that's scoring goals. So we hope he's with us. And I'm not in his shoes, so I can't tell you exactly, but we hope he's with us.
I just had a question about, obviously Kai's coming out today, and I just want to talk about the next man up mentality on this team. You've stepped in and done really well in that back line, but when you have a player like Kai who's suspended, what's kind of the mentality of the guy who's coming on in his place to kind of fill those shoes?
I think that's one of those things that in every good team you need guys that are ready and available off the bench, and so the guys that are on the bench, that's what you're working for. You're working week in and week out to get your chance, and when you come on, you got to prove something to the coaches, to the fans, to the staff, but also to yourself. It's your moment to provide something for the team, and so I think it's normal throughout the season. Guys will rotate, guys will be injured, guys will get suspended. It's a part of the MLS where it goes fast. But yeah, we have faith in the guys that come on, and I think everybody that hasn't had many minutes, should be excited.
And then, like, on the opposite end of that, with players coming out, players coming back in, Connor Antley came on and made his first appearance in a year. I know you weren't with him last year, but how much does it uplift the group to see someone like Connor who's working hard in rehab to finally get back out?
Yeah, for a guy when you see guys work so hard and put so much effort into something that is so difficult. Obviously, I also went through it last year. It's mentally so tough when you're in those positions. So everybody just feels really good for the guy. On a outside of the game, you feel really good personally. Just the fact that he can be out there, he can finally help the group, and for him, of course, from the outside, you're like, oh man, I just want to be out there. I want to help the guys. I want to play. I want to provide. So I think on both ends, people are feeling good. We feel good for him. He feels good to be back, and hopefully everybody's feeling good.
Brian, you got some from Zoom?
Yeah. Hey, Lucas. Thank you for joining us. We'll start with Dave Johnson.
Lucas, you talked about the importance of being aware, obviously, because it's structurally sound. I think the team has been. Is part of that, does there need to be better communication, or how does it, defense as a whole, the whole team, become aware so you don't have moments that hurt you like they did against Philadelphia?
I think, we're a pretty young group. If you look at the age of all the players, most of the guys starting, it's a very young group. And I think something that we need to, we're a few games into the season now, we need to mature. We need to grow up. There's no time for now saying, okay, this and that. If there's moments where we need to foul guys, we need to foul guys. If there's moments where we need to be dirty, we need to be dirty. If there's moments where the ball has to be played quickly, or we need to slow the play down, or we need to catch our breath, these are the little things, that comes with experience and comes with it's kind of what I'll say is the game within the game. And I think that's right now where this group, as a whole, we have to grow up very fast. And when I talk about awareness, it's being aware of that, being aware that we can talk about tactics all we want. We can have a good shape for 90 minutes. We can feel in a game where Philadelphia, you know, their strength is playing in behind us, playing in behind. That's what they do to every group. And we felt they didn't get behind us throughout the first 60, 70 minutes. They didn't do it one time. And so on that end, defensively, we feel really good. But then they scored 2 goals. So if you look at where those 2 goals come from, it's the awareness of, okay, do we need to foul guys? Do we need to be smarter in little moments? And that's what I mean, maturity. We just need to feel the game within the game.
And then, obviously, big at home this week. So against Colorado, what's the big concern?
They have good players too, you know, and I think it, you know, being smart with those guys, but also then again focusing on ourselves. Like I was just saying, we've done well. We've had a good structure, and so it's just capitalizing on those moments going forward. So being mature in the way that we defend, but also in the way that we attack. When we have 2 chances, we got to punish them, and I think that in this league makes a big difference.
Next, we'll go to Bruce Murray.
Hey, Lukas, thanks for your time.
Of course.
When are we going to see Lukas MacNaughton on the score sheet? And is Zach Prince drawing up some of his crazy plays to get you involved on those corner kicks?
Yeah, well, hopefully again soon, right? I mean, we're working on it, you know. I'm disappointed I didn't have one last game. I always want to be in the box. I always want to be on the end of something. So all I can say is hopefully this weekend.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Donald Wine.
Hello, Lukas. Thanks for your time today. This was asked a little bit of Troy a few minutes ago, but we wanted to get your perspective of the consistency and how do you know, what do you think is the catalyst for getting more consistent with your play on the field? And not just you specifically, but the team.
I mean, are you talking in terms of consistency as players, or are you talking consistency of results? What are we talking about?
Yeah, the results, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, where I'll start off is consistency with players, right? When I talk about the MLS, I think when you see groups that have a lot of success, it's groups that are healthy, groups that are able to play a lot of players, and in a lot of players in different positions. You know, I watched Vancouver last night, and you see the way that they rotate players, the way that they have guys coming off the bench, the way that they just seem to be, you know, everybody. Obviously, they don't have Ryan Gold, right? But they have a big bench of players that are high quality. And when we talk about consistency in our team, obviously there's been a few ins and outs of players coming and going and being injured and being not injured. But I don't think that is what defines consistent results. I think going back to being aware of the little moments in games, that's where you get consistent results. You know, sure, one game you can be lucky, one game you can be unlucky, but if you kind of produce your own luck. And I think those little moments, if you take care of them and you're very aware of them in all games, then the luck will be pushed in your favor. And I think that's where the consistency then comes from, in my opinion.